Has living here changed me? And at first I was going to say, no, not really. I mean, how much is going to change in 3 months? But actually, almost immediately, there was a pretty big change. There's a sense of, I'm doing it. I'm actually living here. I'm living this way. Very few people have the opportunity to create a new way of living. In 2012, right at the end of the year, we had our foster placement fall apart, basically. It fell apart for us mainly because a very good situation evolved for the children, so they found a placement that was really great. And so we ended up kind of high and dry and kind of wondering, well, what's next? That was the point where Kimberly and I just realized we're going different directions. We're not even sure if our parenting styles are compatible, really. She still wants to foster, but unfortunately, my wife wasn't really into living smaller. I'm not going to foster with her at the cost of postponing, living in tiny houses another 10 or 15 years. I'm not going to do it. And so there we are. So she now lives in the big house. I've moved out, and it's actually been really good. There's nothing like waking up on the most luxurious mattress I've ever slept on in my life, and wake up warm in a cozy space and be able to reach anywhere in about 3 steps. A tiny home is a really radically smaller house than people are used to living in. When I go back to the big house, when I'm cooking, it's really different because I end up getting lost in that house. To the average person, I have no idea what the average person would think because I don't have an average background. I grew up on boats, I've moved a lot. So I grew up in a sailing family. The first thing we did before my parents even had jobs was buy a boat. It was this tiny boat, 25-foot boat. If you've been on sailboats, you know that 25 feet is so small that an adult jumping off of it can push it away from the dock to the point where you might fall in. I mean, it's tiny. I've lived in rooms where I've had to squeeze all of my possessions into, and they've been about this size. So this feels quite cozy and natural. And so I've created a place that meets my needs very easily. And more to the point, I'm actually now embarked on the whole purpose that I built this for, which is trying to create a new way of living. When I look at how most of us live in houses, and I think about even myself just a few years back, for most people, home is just home.